Got something exciting going on today. I'm about to go over to the log yard and pick up a special log for a special project. Dandy. Man, guys, they hooked me up. This is a really nice ash log. And they said, you know, I mean, this is getting pretty rare. You can't hardly find a live ash tree anymore because of that emerald ash borer. It's killing all of them. So when they buy these, they buy them for junk, you know, as junk logs because they can't get enough to make a good product out of. So they sold me this log cheap, which is nice. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun project. I think I'm going to go ahead and just take this all the way up the hill and set it on the mill. That way we'll be ready to go. This is nice. This is going to be fun, guys. This is a good log. I'm pumped. I am pumped. Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peak's Peak. My name's Lucas, and we're sharing our hobbies on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky. And today is a good day because I get to make a custom mantle for a friend. So my neighbor, the neighbors that let us have my daughter's wedding on their farm, texted me a few weeks ago, and they said their aunt in Georgia needs a new mantle, and they want it made out of ash. They want it 4 inches by 8 inches by 8 foot long. I wasn't sure how easy it was going to be to find an ash log because of the emerald ash boring beetle. Those bugs that are killing all the ash trees have taken out just about every one I've seen. And I looked all over my property and I could not find any. So I texted the guys across the road. It's cold, I can't talk, guys. So I texted the guys across the road at the log yard. And I said, hey, would you know where I could buy an ash log that is at least 8 foot long? I need to get, I said an 8x8 beam because I couldn't remember the exact dimensions. But anyway, he texted back right away and said, I've got one, come over and pick it up. And the price he gave me on it, of course, you know, he would have just given it to me. And I said, no, I want to pay you for it. And the price he gave me on it was so cheap that I was like, he's had a typo in his text. And so I'll just wait and take a check over there. When I got over there, I said, I think you had a typo in your text. I said, what was the real total on this? And he said, no, listen, he said, these ash logs, we have to buy as junk because we can't get enough of them to make any quantity of wood products out of it. So they're really not worth much of anything to us. So I don't know exactly how they go about pricing them, but he bought it for little or nothing and he passed that savings right on to me. And we're gonna get a beautiful mantle or two out of this. I think I can probably get at least a couple of mantles out of this. And what I hope to do is cut this to where I have at least 2 for them to choose from so they can pick their favorite one. I hope it will work out well. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to start getting everything set up and then we'll cut this log and see how it looks. Before I start cutting, I actually want to show you guys a little tool that a friend of mine sent me. Mark Manisto, he has a YouTube channel called Manisto Key. He sent me some stickers, but he also, you know, we've been buddies doing this YouTube thing for a while, and he reached out to me and said, I made something that I think that I would like for you to try out and see if you like it and give me some feedback on it. And I'll just be honest, I'm not an experienced sawyer, so I'm sure he could find better people to test his product. But he has 3D printed gauges for milling lumber. So what he's got are these blocks that are like a 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, you know, really nice blocks. And I apologize for being clumsy here, but I'm not taking my gloves off. It's like 25 degrees and I'm freezing. But he's got these nice little blocks. And so I should be able to use the 4-inch block because we're making a 4x8 beam. And then I'm also going to try out this beam gauge that he sent me. So I will probably use this, you know, for the 8-inch part because the whole outer square of this is 8 inches. And I'm going to try to use this to determine where to make my cuts on this log and see if I can kind of learn how to use this the way he designed it. I think these will be very handy to have around here. And so I'm going to try to use them and see if it makes my job a little bit easier dividing up these logs and deciding how they work. But let me know what you think about these because he would like some feedback on it. Do you think this is something you would use on your sawmill? They are nice, heavy-duty 3D printed plastic gauges. Very, very sturdy made. Pretty cool. I don't know if he has these for sale yet or not. I think he's kind of in the development stages, but let me know your feedback on these and what you think. And if you're interested, I'll find out from him when he's going to sell these and make them available, and I'll try to put some information in the description and stuff. Before I start the mill, I'll show you. Here's kind of what I'm picturing is that I can take this and I can tell that this first cut's going to work to where I can get me an 8x8 beam out of this log just like this pretty easily. You know, if we center the pith there, I could go ahead and mark out, take a marker and mark out the beam on this and know exactly where to cut. Now, I don't know that I'm going to go that far because I actually want a little margin for error. If they want a 4x8 mantle, well, this is not dried, so it's going to shrink after I cut it. So I think I'm going to probably go ahead and cut this like 4.5 by 8.5. And you guys let me know if I've made a mistake there or not. Hopefully that will be big enough that when it shrinks down, it still will be about what they want. Because, you know, I'm new to this and I'm just learning and I haven't milled beams very much. I don't know how much shrinkage we're going to get on that. And today we are using the 7-degree Timberdog Platinum blade. Heavy. I don't have water up here because, well, it's 25 degrees. And I don't have my blower up here because I haven't been milling that much with it freezing cold. So we'll just broom it off here. Man, this is beautiful. Just beautiful. All right, let's get a good look at this. This is gorgeous. Now this end down here is spalted just a little bit, and it's really pretty. But I don't know that, I don't think we're gonna put that in the mantle. I think we'll, you know, try to stick down there to the good solid wood that's not been affected by the bugs, because this tree was on its way out. You can see this is what's going on right here. Let's see if I can pull up some bark here. Well, you can see it. It was still a live tree, but it wasn't going to live very long. They captured it in time that we're going to be able to make something nice out of it, and hopefully it will be shown off and beautiful in someone's house for a long time. All right, let's raise these up just a little. And then we'll turn this up on its edge. Slid those down. We don't want to do that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good, good, good. Nice and square. We're still easy, got plenty of extra space. All right, we'll go ahead and make this cut across the top here, get her flipped over, and we'll have us a nice size cant that's gonna be about 10 by 10, which will give us plenty of leeway to figure out exactly what size we wanna cut this, and hopefully we'll get 2 out of it, and they'll be plenty long enough so that we can make choices out of which end we want to take and which piece of wood is the prettiest. That's heavy. We're going to use the tractor. All right, we'll just use the tractor. Yay! This will get our cant made, and then we can make decisions on where to cut to turn it into mantles. Yeah, man, every time I think I'm going to do that and I decide I'm not. They're heavy. Man, that's beautiful. Just beautiful. So we are 9.5 by 8.5. So here's what I'm thinking. We're 9.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So I'm gonna leave the 8.5 for the 8-inch dimension. And I think I'll turn this one time, maybe. Yeah. And we'll have our 9.5. We can cut that in half and we'll get 4¼ inches. So we'll have a little bit of leeway for shrinkage there. And so we'll have two 4x8 beams that are 12 foot long. And then they can choose the 8-foot section out of either one of those beams. That'll give them a little bit of choice in the wood grain and imperfections. Like we got, you know, one little section here that's got a little bit of live edge left on the cant. And it's got just a little bit of bug damage on that. Some people like character, some people want perfection, and I don't know what they're looking for in this. So this will give them some options. I think this is going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to clean the bunks really well and then get this thing put in position, and we'll cut this thing. And I'll tell you my concern on this. So now's your chance. If you know about milling, now's your chance to give me a little education. Because what I was about to do, in my mind, I'm thinking about dividing up a piece of wood and getting the most out of it. And I always kind of forget about how the pith is going to cause the wood to react as it dries. And so in my mind, I was working on this cant, and then I thought I'll have enough lumber I'll have enough size in this cant that I can cut it in half and have two 4x8s, and they can choose which one they want. But what that's going to do is put the pith right on the outside edge of each of those beams, probably making both beams warp in opposite directions. Am I thinking right? I think what I've decided to do, I called my buddy Brock, FaceTime, and showed him my cant and what I've got. And he said that his suggestion is what I was thinking, in that I need to just center the pith and cut one beam out of it. Now, he said he thinks a lot of people try to get the pith out of the lumber completely. But on a beam, I don't know. I think as long as I get it right in dead center, that it's going to be fine. So how do you do that with beams? Because I would think that I would have to have an enormous log to get 4x8s out of it if I was going to cut the pith out of it and throw it away. Yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot to learn. I know I've got a lot to learn, but I want to give them a good product. So this is what I'm going to go with. I think that I will go ahead and mark on the end of this. I'll go 4.5 or 4¼ by 8.5. We'll center the pith, and just that's how the beam will be made. And hopefully it dries straight and works out well for them. And the other lumber on the side will just be some boards that we get out of it. I might be able to make some 2x6s or whatever out of the scrap. So I think that's what I've decided to do. You guys can jump down in the comments and tell me how bad I messed up. And I'm glad I stopped and thought about this. I just got all excited and got up here and started milling, and I wasn't thinking like I should have been and planning like I should have been. So just about messed up. Now, I've got two really nice 2 1/4 by 8.5 by 13-foot long boards off of each side of this. Yeah, a little over 13 foot. So these are really nice, and what I'm gonna do, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get my saw and cut this beam to just over 8 foot long, and that way we've got our dimensions covered. I can let it dry for a little bit. We're a good 8 1/4 inches by, we've got our dimensions covered. It can dry and we'll see how it does. I can shave a little more off of it later if they need me to before they take it home, but this will get it in drying mode. Anyway, what I'm going to do actually is I'll cut this to the 8 foot length, and I'm going to set it across those cross ties back there, and I'm going to place these beams on top of it for weight and then cover it up. In fact, I'll probably put some boards down on those cross ties so it doesn't, the black doesn't bleed onto this. But this is a beautiful beam. This is going to make a really cool mantle, I think. I hope they like it. Now, you never know what someone else has in mind, but I think that's just beautiful. I just love it. I hope that they do too. Well, guys, that was a fun day. It's really cool to have an actual order to fill and a specific type of wood that they were looking for, certain dimensions to shoot for, and of course, you know, I had to stop myself from making some mistakes there, and you know, you may still have some critique for me, but I do think that given the log that I had, the dimensions I had to work with, the best case scenario I had there really was to cut that 4x8 beam out of the dead center of the log and keep the pith in the middle of it. From what I understand, that can weaken a beam to have the pith in it, but they're also not using this for structure. So my main concern is keeping it good and straight and not twisting and all of that. So what I did was I got it laid out good and straight. I put some weight on top of it. Then I put metal over the top of that to keep the sunlight off of it, try to keep the color in it. And I'm gonna let it dry until they're ready for it. And then we'll hope for the best. I don't know how soon they're wanting to use it, if they're wanting to put it up green or let it dry for a while. I'm not real sure on that, so we'll have to talk about that. But I'll let them know that I've got it cut anyway, and on with the next project, right? But it's been a good day. I can tell you that when I wake up in the morning and it's 20 degrees outside, I have a hard time wanting to go out and do anything. But I started out by working on a video for the Outdoors channel where I went out and I reviewed some of the flooding and things that are going on, and fixing my road. And then I sent a message to the guys over at the log yard and asked them if they had this ash log, not intending to get into this today, but when they had such a nice log and I was excited to mill it, I thought, man, might as well just get my warm clothes on and get out there and get to work. And it's been a fun day, except for my ears freezing because I should have wore a toboggan. I've been doing pretty good. You know, you work hard enough, you stay warm. And that's what I've done today. But guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And until next time, you be sure and get outside and enjoy God's creation because it's beautiful out here. And you all have a good day.